Okay. Well, good morning to all of you. Now let's today discuss how to find out the critical path from an activity on edge network. Okay. Still it is a part of project scheduling. We are continuing. In activity on edge network, I have already told you activity is represented by links or edges or the arrows. But in activity on node network, activity you are represented how? By using nodes or circular nodes or the rectangular boxes. But here in activity on edge network, activity will be represented by links or edges or arrows. The nodes, then what do the nodes represent here? If the edges represent the activities of the tasks, so what do the nodes represent? The nodes will represent the events of activity starting or finished. When an activity is started or when an activity is finished, that will be represented by the nodes. The nodes, they represent the events of activity or group of activities. I mean the starting or the finishing point of the activities. Okay. See, I just want to say that in Rourkela night, Rourkela now power is fluctuating. So if it is disconnected sometimes in between, please wait for 5 minutes or so. It will again take some time to be reconnected. So now I have taken the same example that we have taken in last class. There are 8 activities or 8 tasks. Activity names are written like this, like a hardware selection, system configuration, install the hardware, data migration, draft office procedures, recruitment of staff, user training, installation and testing. The durations are given. Precedence also last class as it was there, same precedence I have taken. That is C is dependent on A, tax D is dependent on B, tax E is also dependent on B, tax G is dependent on E and F, tax H is dependent on C and D. Okay. With this, now what I have to do? I have to draw the activity network using the AOE representation. Okay. Just 1 second, please. Okay. So now here we have to, in order to find out the critical path, what we have to do? First, we have to construct the activity network here in the form of activity on edge. So in this case, what will the edges represent? I have already told you, they will represent the activities. The nodes will represent what? The activities starting or finishing points. So now this will be the corresponding AOE network. Let's see how I have done this thing. You can see the nodes will represent what? Start or end points of the activities. So obviously, first node will be start for the what activities we do not depend on anything else. You can see which activity do not on anything else, A, B and F. So A, B and F can be started initially. That I have written here. This is the start node. So from start node A, B, F can be started. These are the 3 activities. Please see the nodes are now represented as what? Sorry, the activities are represented as edges. So what does it mean? This edge represents activity A. Then what does these 2 nodes represent? This is the starting node for activity A and this node will be the ending node for activity B. A. Similarly, this is the activity B. For this is the start node and this is the start event and this is the end event 3. And for F, this is the start event and this is the end event. Then what is the next thing? We can see that. So next will come what? C will depend on A. Okay, let's see. This is C. Please mark the directions. So C is happening after A. So this says that C is dependent on A. And what does these 2 nodes 2 and 4 represent? That 2 node is the starting point of C, the starting event of activity C, and node 4 is the ending event or finishing event for activity C. Then what is D and E? They are both dependent on B. So let's see D and E where? This is D, this is E. They are dependent on what? They are dependent on activity B. And what is this? That means node 3 is the starting event for activity D. Node 4 is the ending event of activity D. Similarly for node E, sorry, for activity E, node 3 is the starting event and node 5 is the ending event. Then what is there? You can see that G is dependent on what? E and F. So I have to draw now G so that E and F should be the precedent nodes. See, where is G? G. E and F have been pointing to the one, they have one ending event, and I have drawn now G. This, if you will traverse backward, you can see that G is dependent on E and F. What is next left? H is dependent on CD. So now where is C? CD, they have pointed to only one finishing event. Now H is dependent on, you can go, if you look backwards, H is dependent on CD. This suggests that H can start only when CD are completed. And for H, what is the starting event? For the activity H, 4 is the starting event and 6 is the ending event. And for the whole project, you can see node number 1 is the starting event and node number 6 is the ending event. Okay. In this way, you can draw the corresponding AOE network for the given assignment. Only difference is that in AON, we have taken nodes are the activities, but here we are taking the edges are the activities. In the ON, we have taken the edges are what the precedence or the dependence relationships, and here we have taken edges are the activities, and nodes we have taken what? The starting or the ending events for the activities. Okay, this is how you can draw the corresponding AOE network. Now we should try to find out this what are the steps to be followed to draw the critical path method. Okay, so that we'll see. But before that, similarly, just like our last class, I have told you some of the rules you must follow for drawing the AON network. Similarly, here also we must have to look at some of the rules or assumptions while drawing the AOE network. What are they? Let's quickly look at them. The AOE rules and the conventions. Please remember that a project network may have only one start node. Okay, any project may have only one start node. That also we are seeing in AON, but in AON case that was desirable. Even if some project has 2 start nodes, okay, you can manage. But here it is not desirable, it is compulsory. A project network may have only one start node. This is a requirement. Please mark the difference. This is a requirement of activity on edge networks rather than merely desirable, as is the case with activity on node networks. In activity on node networks, this is desirable, but in AOE network, this is must. That every project network should have one start node. Just 1 second, please. Sir, namaskar, sir. Sir, take class hochi, class sala par phone kurche, sir. Sir, okay, sir. So, okay. So now here a project network may have only start node. This is a mandatory requirement, but in case of AON, this is a desirable requirement. Similarly, a project network may have only one end node. It cannot have more than one node. Again, this is a mandatory requirement for activity on edge networks. Whereas in activity on node networks, again, this is desirable. So these things you must follow. So then generally let's assume that whether you are using AOE diagrams or AON diagrams, please try to put only one start node and only one end node in the diagram, then no confusion will arise, no mistake you will commit. In the AON case, we have seen that AON that every node has some duration because nodes are dependent on the tasks, and you know every task must take time to be executed. So, but here in AOE, the tasks are represented by what? The tasks are represented by edges or the links. So a link must have some duration. Okay. So in AOE, not the nodes, but the link must have some duration. And you know, in AOE, a link represents what? It represents an activity. And in general, the activity takes some time to execute, isn't it? The activity takes some time to execute. That's why in the AON, the nodes should have some duration, but in AOE, the edges should have some duration. The links are not drawn in any way to represent the activity duration. See, whether if the activity is say 10 days, duration is 10 days, then that arrow will be longer, and if it is 5 days, it will shorter. No, nothing like that. That's why you want to say that. The links are not drawn in any way to represent the activity durations. For 15, it will be larger, for 10, it will be smaller. No, nothing like that. The network drawing merely represents what? The logic of the project. So So that network what you are drawing, it represents the logic of the project, the rules governing the order in which the activity has to be carried out, which activity has to be done, it will be executed first, which then, that order has to be properly represented. That's like that here we have drawn. First A, B, F. After A, C will be executed. After B, D will be executed. After C and D are completed, then H will be executed like this. So the order in which activity will be executed, that has to be represented properly in the diagram. Okay. And as I have already told you, here activities are represented as edges. So edges must have some duration, but not nodes. So nodes have no duration. The nodes represent what? I have already told you the nodes represent the starting and the ending events. So the nodes are events and are instantaneous points in time. The source node is the event of the project becoming ready to start. Okay, you can see that every activity has two nodes. For A, one is the starting event. For A, two is the ending event. We will say that A is the source node, one is the source node, and two is the ending node. So what the source node represent, and what does the ending node, the end node represent, or the sync node? The source node is the event of the project becoming ready to start. Okay, so source node means it is the event of the project that is becoming ready to start. And what does this sync node represent? The sync node is the event of the project becoming completed. Okay, sync node means it is the event of the project becoming completed. Here, as I have already told you, for activity A, one is the source node, two is the sync node. One means this is the event that the activity A is ready to start. Two means this is the sync node. That means now activity A is going to be completed. That to represent this event. Then what does the intermediate nodes represent? The intermediate nodes represent what, say, here one is the source node for activity A, two is the source node for activity, the sync node for activity A. But for the whole project, if you will see, for the whole project, one is the source node and 6 is the sync node. This means you are at node number A1 means the project is going to the event that the project is going to be started, and node 6 represent the event that the whole project is going to be completed. Then other nodes for the project are known as intermediate nodes. In this case, 2, 3, 4, 5, these nodes are the intermediate nodes for the whole project. Then what do the intermediate nodes represent? The intermediate nodes, they represent two simultaneous events. Okay, they represent, each intermediate node represent two simultaneous events. What are they? The event of all activities leading into a node having been completed, and the event of all activities leading out of that node being in a position to be started. Okay, I'm saying again, the event of all activities leading into a node having been completed, and the event of all activities leading out of that node being in a position to be started. So into and out of that node, you can see. Now let's say, yes, yes. So here we have chosen node number 3, suppose what activity. Now what nodes are falling into 3? B. What does it mean? Activity B is going to be completed. Now what edges are coming out of 3? 2, D and E. That means node 3 represents that activity D and E are going to be started. So every intermediate node represents two things. How many edges are entering into this? That means those activities are going to be completed. How many edges are coming out of this? That means those edges or those activities are going to be started. Okay, this is what the intermediate nodes represent. Okay. Now you can see this the example I have already explained in last class, but there the activities you are represented as nodes, and here the activities are represented as the edges. You can see that node 3, the event that both coding and data taken have been completed, isn't it? What does node 3 represent? That coding and data taken, they have completed. And what other thing it represent? the activity program test is free to start. Now, since code and data taken are completed, now program test, this activity is going to start. Similarly, what does this node 4 represent? It represents that what as soon as program test is going to be completed, then immediately installation will start. So 4 represents that program test is going to be completed, and as soon as the activity program test is completed, then immediately the installation activity is going to start. Okay. Like AON, here also time moves from left to right. Okay, just like AON, here also times they moves time moves from left to right. The nodes are numbered normally sequentially. So you can see that here in the my earlier one, nodes are represented sequentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like this. They are normally written sequentially. There are no precise rules about node numbering. Okay, there is no exact precise rule is there, but some guidelines we can give. The guideline is like that: the nodes should be numbered in such a way that the head nodes always have a higher number than the tail events. Please say what guideline you can follow. So the nodes you should number in such a way that the head nodes, they must always have a what higher number than the tail events or tail nodes. This convention, it will make it easy to locate the loops, because I already told you yesterday, loops are not desirable in drawing the activity networks. So if you can number in this way, then you can easily locate the loops. So here you can see I have followed that thing. 1 and 2, 2 is the head node, 1 is the tail node, so I have given a larger number. So anyone you take 4 here, so the tail nodes are 2 and 3, 4 is the what head node, so it has a higher number. So in that way, please try to practice in numbering the nodes. This will help you in identifying the loops. Okay. Then as I have already told you last class that in network may contain some loops, but loops are undesirable. You should not actually include loops in the networks. So the loops are either an error of logic or a situation which must be resolved by itemizing the iterations of activity groups. A loop, what does it represent? It represents an impossible sequence. So this example also I have taken in the last class. They are the nodes who are representing these activities, but these activities, correct errors, test program, diagnosis errors, these are now represented here as edges. This is not desirable. And how to solve this thing, yesterday we have told similar things you can do, follow here to solve them. Then another is dangles. Dangles also I have told in the last class. So a network may not contain dangles, and a dangling activity cannot exist as it would suggest there are 2 completion points for the project, isn't it? Last class also same example I have taken. Only difference that here the activities I have taken along the edges. So here what does it mean? That there are 2 termination points, right? User manual and test program. But normally one should not do like that. So you can take a dummy node or dummy activity from 3 to 5, or directly you can connect from 2 to 5. Okay. So here node 5 represents the 2 project completion point, but there are no activities depend on activity right user manual. So here it is another terminal one. So either you directly connect to 2 to 5, or from 3 to 5 you connect on dummy activity with no duration. That will also suffice. But don't put these types of danglings where more than one activity or more than 2 activities they are considered as the termination or the completion activities. Then in order to overcome this dangling activities, what you should do, then the network should be redrawn so that activity right user manual starts at node 2 and terminates at node 5. These 3 don't do. Directly make a curve from where 2 to 5. Then this this edge will represent right user manual, and this dangling activity problem can be removed. Okay. Or second option is that what you can do in practice, you would insert a dummy activity between nodes 3 and 5. As I was saying, first option is you can directly connect 2 to 5. Second option is that from 3 to 5 another edge you can add, that will be an activity with 0 duration. That is also possible. In other words, all events except the first and last must have these followings. Okay, in AOE, what we should say that all events excepting the first and the last events must have the following characteristics. What are the characteristics? At least one activity is entering to them, at least one activity leaving from those intermediate nodes, and all activities must start and end with an event. Please say, if you are following these things, then you will not find any problem or any dangling activity. So in other words, we say that all events except the first and the last must have at least one activity entering them and at least one activity leaving them, and every activity must start from where? Must start from an event as well as must end with an event. Okay. Now let's see dummy activity. I have already told you here the dummy activity that in order to overcome this dangling what problem, or in order to avoid the dangling activities, I can draw an edge from 3 to 5, and these 3 to 5 will be dummy activity without having any duration or with having zero duration. That is a dummy activity. So you can insert, you can include dummy activities which will simplify your graph construction process and finding. It will make easy finding the CPU critical path. It will finding easy. It will make easy for finding the critical paths in an AOE. So what is an dummy activity? When two paths within a network have a common event, although they are in other respects independent, a logical error might occur. Okay. So when two paths within a network, within an activity network, have a common event, although they are independent in other respects, so still a logical error might occur. So when two paths have a common event, this problem might occur. So we have to go for using dummy activity. Suppose it is necessary to specify a piece of hardware before placing an order for it and before coding the software. I am taking now an example how we can add dummy activities to overcome the problems. So what is the example says? Suppose you are going to order for a hardware device. So suppose it is necessary to specify a piece of hardware before placing an order for it. You want to purchase a hardware. So for purchasing the hardware, you must have first specify it. What is the specification? So you have to specify a piece of hardware before placing an order for it and before coding the software. Also before coding the software, you want to know what is the specification of the hardware. Now before coding the software, it is also necessary to specify the appropriate data structure. Isn't it? We are going to use. Although clearly we do not wait for this to be done before the hardware is ordered. But we normally do not wait before the hardware is ordered. But we have to know the data structures that we require, which will be used in the coding. So how then how the graph will look like? The activity on edge network for this specification, how it will look like? What is said that there are these are the activities. One is specify the hardware. Another is design the data structure, another is placing the order, another is coding the software. But if we will draw the diagram in such a way, you can find there's a small mistake. What is the mistake? See, I have already told you, for placing the order, specified hardware is required. That means placing order is dependent on specify order, specify hardware. Similarly, coding data structure, coding software, it will also depend on what is the hardware specification. Coding software, for coding software also we require what? What are the data structures, design of data structure. Those parts are okay. But by this thing, another one constraint we are forcibly imposing. What is that? That before placing the order, please mark this relationship. This diagram also says that see here 4 constraints you can see. First of all, placing order is dependent on specified hardware. Placing order is specified on design data structures. Core software is dependent on specified hardware. Core software is dependent on design data structures. But if you minutely look at what is the requirement of placing an order, or what is the requirement that placing order should be dependent on design structure data structures. In other words, I can say that is it required that design of data structures should be completed before placing the order? No, because placing the order will put to what vendor to give it. So, but for that, why this constraint will be required? Design data structures. In order to make our diagram easy, we have made like this. But at all, this is not required. For placing the order, the design of data structure is not required. Design of data structure is required only for the coding the software. So this is an irrelevant constraint or relationship we have put, which you can see from this diagram. So now our objective is to remove this constraint which is not required. What is the constraint here? It is not required. Placing an order is depending on design data structures, which is not true. I can design data structure independently. I can placing the order. Why placing of order will be dependent on the design of data structure? So these things should be removed. This I have drawn. If I can draw a dummy activity, then this problem can be overcome. See, I have already told you that this network is incorrect because it requires both hardware specification and data structure design. They must be completed before either an order will be placed or the software coding may commence, which is not true. The problem can be only we require that before placing the order we should specify the hardware. Similarly, before coding the software we should specify the hardware and the design data structures. But for placing the order, design of data structure may not be completed, not required at all. So the problem is resolved how? By separating the two independent parts and introducing a dummy activity to link the completion of specified hardware to the start of the activity code software. Let's see here. So now I have drawn a dummy activity. So now I have created actually another event 3A and another dummy activity from 3 to A. Why? Because you see, I want to say that, and please mark the direction. I want to say that place order should be dependent on specified order. Yes, we can look at from the direction of the arrows. Similarly, coding software, you can see it is dependent on design data structures, and if you go via this dummy edge, this is also dependent on specified data structure, specified hardware. But now placing order is not dependent on design data structure because no such backward arrow is there. No backward arrow is there. So now by drawing this thing, this diagram, we have successfully overcome the problem of what this omitting the relationship between placing order and design data structure. You can see now placing order is independent and design data structure independent. No relationship among them. So in this way, by adding dummy activities, you can simplify your activity network. You can simplify the drawing of activity networks. This effectively breaks the link between the data structure design and placing the order. You see what link were there between placing data structure and the design data structure, this arrow, backward arrow, but now you see that problem is removed. This effectively breaks the link between the data structure design and placing order. So now there is no relationship between placing order and design data structure. So in this way, dummy activity will help you to make simplify your activity on edge networks. I want to here say that in some books you will see the dummy activities in order to differentiate the dummy activities from the normal activities, they are drawn dotted lines or dashed lines. In many books you will see dummy activities are written as or they are drawn as dotted lines or dashed lines. So here the dummy activity is from 3 to 3A. Okay. Dummy activities several times they are shown as dotted lines on the network diagram. And they have a zero duration and they use no resources. They are often used. Why these dummy activities are used? They are often used to aid in the layout of network diagrams. To make easy the drawing of network diagrams, they are used. So like see here, A, B, two activities are there. It is further simplified here. Like both are A and B, both are originating from the same node, same event, but 2 to 3 a dummy, but edge have been added to make the network diagram more simpler. Okay. The use of a dummy activity where two activities share the same start node and end nodes make it easier to distinguish the activity endpoints. Okay. If we use a dummy activity where two activities share the same start node and end nodes, this will make it easier to distinguish the activity endpoints. These problems do not occur with activity on node network. I have already told you there are some problems with AOE. Especially you have seen with this problem when two activities share the same start and end node. But this problem does not arise in AOA, but here it is arises, and that's why we have to, when in AOE, when two activities share the same start and end nodes, this will make the graph problematic. So we have to use dummy activity nodes to resolve to resolve this problem or to resolve this issue. But these types of problems, they do not occur with the activity on node network. This is another one of one of the reasons why the activity on node network it is preferred over activity on edge networks. Then how to represent lagged activities? I have already told you yesterday. So similar thing here you can do, but here only the activities are represented as the edges. So we need to represent these with the pairs of dummy activities as shown below. Like you see, same example I have taken, and it said that document amendments should be started one day after the test prototype, and the document amendments, this activity should be finished after 2 days. See how I have done this. So here you can see that we have added now 2 activities, dummy activities, and since here it is required that the duration is given, it will be started 1 day after and it will be finished 2 days after. So forcibly we have written the number of days that will delete, and this parallelogram says that you can see this activity document, it is started a little bit right. So it means that it will be started after 1 day because 1 is written here. And you can see test prototype is finished fast. It will draw a perpendicular here. But document amendments is finished little bit later. By how many days later? 2 days. So in this way, you can represent the lagged activities that already I have explained in the last class. Then now let's see how you label the activities. Okay, we have to follow some notation how the activities can be labeled. There are a number of conventions that have been adopted for entering information on an activity on edge network. Typically, the diagram is used to record information about the events rather than the activities. Okay, typically this the activity network or the activity diagram is used to what? It is used to record the information about the what events rather than showing or recording the information about the activities. But in AOE, we are recording the information about the activities. But in in AON, we are recording the information of the activities, but that means on the nodes. But here we are recording the information about the events. Okay, rather than the activities. Activity-based information other than labels or description is generally held on a separate activity table. If you want to record some information about the activities, you can do so in a separate activity table. Okay. Now I will show the convention. What convention is used? Because you can see in my first diagram, I have drawn the first one. How you can see. This was my AOE. You can see the circle is divided into 4 quadrants. What these 4 quadrants represent? That let me tell you. One of the more common conventions for labeling the nodes is as follows. The convention is to divide the node circle into 4 quadrants and use those quadrants to show. The first quadrant in the top, it will represent the event number. Then the right hand quadrant, it will represent the latest date. Then the bottom quadrant will represent the slack time or the float time, and the left hand side quadrant will represent the earliest date by which the event should occur. And this is the slack I have told. The left one is the earliest dates by which the event should occur. So here also we are representing the latest date and the earliest date. So the top one is the event number, bottom one the slack time, left hand side quadrant is the earliest date, and right hand side quadrant is the latest date. Okay, with this, let's now proceed further. Analysis proceeds in the same way as with the activity on the node networks, although the discussion places emphasis on the events rather than activity start and completion time. Okay, so here the analysis proceeds in the same way as we have seen in case of activity on node. Analysis proceeds in the same way as with activity on node networks, although the discussion places emphasis here on the events rather than the activity start and completion time. So here the emphasis is given on what? On the particular events rather than the start and completion time of the activities. So I'm taking again the same example. Now how to draw the diagram I have already shown you. So in the diagram, while the network I have shown here, this is the first network we have already shown here, isn't it? Yes, this is the network. This is the AOE network I have already shown you. Now I have to find out the critical path. So in order to find out the critical path, same strategy we will use as we have done in case of AON. You can remember that in AON I am having two passes. For finding the earliest start and earliest finish time, I was using forward pass. For finding out the latest start and latest finish times, I was using this backward pass. Similarly, here also we will use a forward pass and a backward pass. Now let's see how we will compute. So in the forward pass, what we will first compute? The earliest start date, then the earliest finish date. Please remember the rule. The rule says that, the guideline says that the earliest start date for an event is the earliest finish date for all the activities terminating at that event. Okay, what are the events? The nodes are the events. So the earliest start date for an event is the earliest finish date for all the activities terminating at that event. I will explain it now. And this rule also I have told yesterday, when there are or where more than one activity terminates at a common event, what we have to take? We have to take the latest of the earliest finish date for those activities. That means the maximum of the paths that we have to take when more than one activity terminates at a common event. So now I will take my example and draw. So let us, this is the first example. I have already told you the start dates are placed where? In the left side quadrant. Now let's see how I am getting the start dates. So let us first take activity A. For activity A, this is the first activity. Obviously, the latest start date will be how much? 0. Now, this is the second one, and this will, sir, this is, I'm sorry, this is the earliest start date. Earliest start date will be 0. I have already told you 1 is an event, 2 is an event. 1 is the starting event for A, 2 is the ending event for A. So now then this means this quadrant will represent what? Now this will represent the earliest finish time. So for 1, this node will represent the earliest start time. For 2, the same node will represent the earliest finish time. That means activity A should be started earlier by 0th day, and when it will be earliest finished, what you will do? So 0 plus 6, because 0 is the earliest start date, 6 is the duration, 0 plus 6 is equal to 6. So earliest finish date will be what? It will be 6. So similarly for B, what will happen? Its earliest start date will be definitely 0. What will the earliest finish date? The earliest finish date is here. This will be how? This will be 0 plus 4, 4. For F, earliest start date will be what? This is the starting event, 0. And what will the earliest finish date? 0 plus 10 will be 10. Okay, in this way I have found out the earliest start date and earliest finish date for A, B and F. Now let us come to activity C. Please see. For activity C, what is the earliest start date? Already we have written here 6, because this is the starting event. And what is the event ending event? The finishing event is 4. Please mark a difference. Now for node 2, this 6, this quadrant represents two things: earliest start as well as earliest finish. This is the earliest finish date for what? Activity A. But the same thing, that means the number 6, it is the earliest start date for activity C. So the same node represents two things: earliest start date and earliest finish date. So which activity is falling into it, that will be, for that it will be earliest finish date. Which activity is coming out of this? So this quadrant will also represent the earliest finish date. And the rule here I have already told you. The earliest finish date, sorry, the earliest start date, how it is defined? It is the earliest finish date for all the activities terminating at that event. So now, as I have already told you, earliest start date for C will be what? It is the same as the earliest finish date for A. So earliest finish date for E is how much? 6. So that's why earliest start date for C is 6. Now please mark the difference. So while I will come to this, Just 1 second, please. Okay, I'm sorry. So now, as I have already told you, for this activity C, the earliest start time becomes 6. Why? Because the earliest finish time for A is 6. Now what I will do? I want to find out the earliest start time and finish time for H. If I want to start know the earliest start time for H, I have to know the earliest finish time for this. So what activities are what falling into this? Two activities C and D. They are falling into this node 4. So what I have already told you, the rule is if there are more than one what activity falling, then I have to take the maximum. So I can see that for activity C, earliest start time is 6. What is the duration? 3. So for activity C, earliest finish time will be 6 plus 3, 9. For activity D, what is the earliest start time? You can see earliest finish time of B. Earliest finish time of B is 4. Duration of D is 4. So 4 plus 4 is 8. That means for activity D, the earliest finish time is equal to how much? 4 plus 4, 8. So now what is larger? Out of 8 and 9, 9 is larger. 9 is highest. So I have to take 9 as the earliest start time for H. I am repeating again. For earliest start time H, I can see there are 2 arrows coming into this. Accordingly, I will get 2 earliest finish times for C and D. Earliest finish time for C is 9. Earliest finish time for D is 4 plus 4, 8. Out of 8 and 9, 9 is maximum. So earliest earliest start time for H will be 9. Okay. Similarly, now I have to take the earliest start time. You can see also 2 nodes, and if you take earliest finish time of E, how much? 4, because starting time is 4, duration is 3. 4 plus 3 is 7. But for if you take F, its earliest start time is 0, earliest finish time is 10. So out of 7 and 10, which is maximum? 10 is maximum. So for G, the earliest start time for G will be 10. Now I have to find out the earliest finish time for the whole project. That means for node number 6. You can see the earliest start time for H is 9. Duration is 2. So 9 plus 2 is 11. For G, how much? Earliest start time 10 plus duration 3. 10 plus 3 is 13. So out of 11 and 13, which is maximum? 13. So the earliest finish time for the project will be how much? 13. Because out of 11 and 13, 13 is maximum. So the earliest finish time for the whole project is 13. In this way, I have carried out the forward pass and find out the earliest start time and earliest finish time for all activities. But please see here, I am considering the events and write down the start times and finish times on the events. Okay. Then whatever I have told you here, all those things we have found out here, just I have written in a table, the earliest start time and earliest finish time for all the activities I have just made in a table. Okay. This is the outcome of forward pass. Now in the backward pass, what we'll do? The latest finish date for an event is what? How I will define? The latest finish for the activities that may commence out of that event, from that event. The latest finish date for an event is the latest start date for all the activities that may commence from that event. And where more than one activity commences at a common event, then what we do? We take the earliest of the latest start dates for those activities. So when there is more than or there are more than one activity, so where more than one activity commences at a common event, what we do? We take the earliest of this latest start dates. That means we take the minimum of the latest start dates for those activities. Now let's take our own example and try to find out, perform backward traversal, backward pass. I have already told you in my diagram, the right hand corner represents the latest dates. So let's and I have already told you, while you will calculate the latest start and latest finish dates, I have to move backward. I have to move from right to left. So latest start date for the project I have, sorry, earliest finish date for project I have already told you 13. In the previous diagram I have already explained. Latest earliest finish date for the project is 13. And for a project, for the end event you can see earliest finish date is equal to the earliest, the latest finish date. So now I have put the latest finish date as same as earliest finish date, which is equal to 13. Now I will go backward. While I will go backward, here you can see for age. So age you can see that its duration is how many? 2 days. And what is the earliest latest finish date here? 13. So what will the latest finish date? What will be latest start date? Because this is the, please remember, just like at the left hand corner, it represents for one activity it is the earliest finish date. Like for this 6 is the earliest finish date for A, but for C this becomes what? Earliest start date. Similarly, this right hand quadrant, for one activity this is the latest finish date, for another activity this will be the latest start date. Okay, so now here you can see this 13 is the latest finish date for the project. That means it should be started latest by what, so that it will be finished by 13 days. Very simple. So 13 minus the duration. So 13 minus 2 is equal to 11. That means for H, the latest start date should be 11, so that it can be finished latest by 13 days. Similarly for G, what you will do? This is 13, latest finish date is 13, its duration is 3. So 13 minus 3 is equal to what? 10. That means the latest start date for 10, this right hand corner, this quadrant, this represents the latest start date for G. You can see that G should be started latest by 10th days, so that it can be finished latest by 13 days. In the same way, we can compute for C. C, when we will compute, what will happen? Its latest finish date is how much? For C, latest finish date is 11. And what is the duration? 3. So 11 minus 3 is equal to 8. So the latest start date for the activity C is 8. Similarly for activity D, latest finish date you can see here 11. So by what date it should be started latest, so that it can be finished latest by 11? Simply 11 minus 4 is 7. Similarly for E, when you will take, what is the latest finish date for E? You can see here 10, this right hand corner, this quadrant. Its duration is 3. So 10 minus 3 is 7. That means E should be started latest by 7, so that it can be finished latest by 10 days. So this column becomes, this quadrant becomes what? Latest start date for E, and its latest finish date is 10. Okay. And similarly for this, when will come, now there is a problem. 3 arrows so are emerging out of the same thing, isn't it? 3 arrows are out of emerging. Now I have to apply the rule. If more than one arrow is emerging, what do I have to do? I have to take the minimum one. So let us find out all the latest dates. You can see for A, you can see please, 8 is the latest start date for C, but 8 is the latest finish date for A. So latest finish date is 8. So on what day it should be started, so that it should be finished by 8 days. So 8 minus 6 should be 2. So now let's see, first value is 2. Second value for B, latest finish date is 7. Its latest start date should be how much? 7 minus 4 is equal to 3. But for A, latest finish date is 10. Its duration is 10. So on what day latest it should be started, so that will finish by 10. So 10 minus 10 is equal to 0. So 3 values I got. For A, latest start date is 2, because 8 minus 6 is equal to 2. For B, latest start is 3, because 7 minus 4 is equal to 3. For F, latest start is 10 minus 10 is 0. So out of 2, 3 and 0, what is the minimum value? 0. So I must have to take the latest start date for event 1 is equal to 0. Now I am not considering latest, as I have already told you, here I am considering the information about the event, not about the activities. So I have to say what will be the latest date for the event 1. So the latest date for event 1 should be now 10. Okay, because is 0. So the latest date for event 1 should be 0. Why? Because the minimum value from 230 is 0. So the latest date for 1 is 0. Okay. So in this way we have performed backward pass and found out the earliest dates and the last dates. Okay. So in this way we have found the earliest date and the latest dates. Okay. So same thing I have represented using a table. All the earliest start date, latest start date, earliest finish date, and latest finish date for all the activities. Then you can easily compute the total float, isn't it? Just my subtract, isn't it? Just you fill up this thing. I have not filled up. You can fill here that 8 minus 2 is equal to 6, or 6 minus 0 is 6, 7 minus 3 4, 11 minus 8 3, like that to find out the total float here. And then what you will do, you have to find out the critical path. This becomes easy. So the critical path is the path joining all the nodes with a 0 slack time, and the critical path is the longest path in the network. So you can find out the bottom quadrant is the quadrant which stores the slack value. So now here it is 8 minus 6 2, 0 minus 0 0, 7 minus 4 3, 11 minus 9 2, 13 minus 13 0, and 10 minus 10 0. So in which cases we get that this is 0? We can see that for only activity F and activity G, we get this thing is 0. So here it is 0 for event 1, for event 5 the slack value is 0, as well as plus event 6 it is 0. So what is the critical path? 1, 5 and 6. This is the critical path. What are the critical tasks? F and G are the critical tasks, because for them the earliest dates are 0. For them when we will find out the slack, this becomes 0. So the earliest, so the critical activities here are F and G. Please recall my previous example with AON. Same thing we have got. What are the critical activities? Same activities you have got F and G. So this means whatever methodology you may adopt, you should get the same critical activities and the same critical path which is being verified here. Okay, this is how we have done. Another quick example, another small example, let's quickly take. A project involves 3 tasks. Task A takes 4 hours, task B takes 5 hours, task C takes 8 hours. C cannot commence until task A is completed. What is the shortest time in which the project can be completed? You can see this is the diagram we have done. This is the AOE. These are the these are the events A, B, and C. This is the start node and finish node. You can see there are 2 finish nodes B and C. This should not be there, so I have added dominoes so that they are. I have added a finish node to finish, and you can see that. Now you can say that the project is completed when B and C both are completed, and now we can see that what will the minimum time? What is the, in other words, I have to say that what is the maximum path? What is the maximum path here? In this path it will go 5. In this path it will go 4 plus 8 12. So 12 is the minimum time that the project will take to be completed. Okay. So clearly the project continues until task A and then task C is complete, which is 4 plus 8 12 hours. But task B takes only 7 hours. What does it mean? Task B can have 7 hours of leeway to start and finish. So B has float variable free time. How much days? 7 days, because anyway project is completed on 12 days. So B can be delayed by another 7 days so that it will be completed by 12 days. So anything days delayed by 0 to 7 days, the activity B can be delayed so that the project will be completed on time. That is on 12 days. Those examples yourself. These are fundamental things already we have discussed. No need to discuss again. You please read yours. Okay. So in some books you will see they have drawn the critical paths with a double line. Instead of a single line, or the path may be colored. Okay. In some of the books, to distinguish, they have either drawn a color line or a double line to mark the critical path, and the critical path may change as the project progresses, please remember when the project progresses, the critical may change. Some other tasks may be critical tasks, or some other activities may be critical activities. You have to monitor. When this will happen? This will happen when tasks are completed either behind or ahead of the schedule. You have prepared an initial schedule. If some of the tasks they are finished before the schedule, or some of the tasks are getting delayed, they are finished after this, their deadlines, after their target lines, then there might be a change in the critical path. Some other path may become critical, some other tasks may become critical. So you have to more closely monitor this process. Okay, this is something about the CPM. Using AOE. Last class we have discussed CPM on AON. Please read those things. Okay, so we have discussed both the methods, activity on node networks and activity on edge networks. So today we have discussed the activity on edge network. We have also discussed the rules for constructing the activity on edge network. We have also solved some few other examples for finding the critical path in activity on edge networks. Okay, so this is an additional one. This is not, I think, activity on edge, because here this ABCR activity, they are represented nodes. I think this is an example from the activity on node networks. Wrongly I have placed here. It should be placed there actually. Okay, so if you say that tasks, if they will be represented like this, but if you say that if you number them 1, 2, 3 and these are the activities A, etc., then that will be okay. If the activity names ABC you can write along this what edges, then this will be activity on edge network. Otherwise, next time I may change it. Anyway, this example is only for your betterment. Okay, this is something about the critical path method. Another important thing left, that is scheduling using POT, project evaluation and review technique. There are some drawbacks of CPM. Those drawbacks we'll discuss on the next class, and we'll discuss POT in the next class. Thank you very much. We have taken this example, I have taken from reference number 1. Okay, this example I have taken from reference number 1, and please read these things yourself. Thank you very much. Now let us take up the questions. Any questions, please? Yes. Any questions? Anybody has some doubt? This requires practice. So in the examination, a question will be asked. You are free to choose any of the method. You may choose the activity on node method or activity on edge method. Whatever you like, you can take. Okay, but the answer should be correct. Whichever method you may take, the answer should tally. The answer should be same. All right. So we can stop here. Thank you very much.